Whenever I talk about long-term care, in most cases, it's a really emotional time. So long-term care is an area which has become more and more prevalent, particularly with the rising care costs and people living longer. Not many people come to me with looking to save for long-term care. Many people will rather not address it than address it on a savings level. But when we talk about care and going into residential care or having care within their own home, in most cases people will come to see me at the point where they need care. So I'm often working with their family members to look at the best options for them. And my job is really to walk them through everything that they can do and all of their options. So in an ideal world, I have a conversation about long-term care really when we start talking about planning for retirement, because there are lots of things that you can do ahead of retirement to make sure that long-term care is also addressed. At that point, they can also start discussing with family members what their wishes are. My preference would be to involve the family as early as possible. It also allows them to be aware, at least, rather than trying to find out all of these details at the point where it might be a really tough time. So the earlier the better, and the more people involved that they want to be involved, the better for me. My primary objective is really, what do you want when we talk about your care needs? We'll cover all kinds of topics in relation to long-term care because I think it's the biggest area of advice that people know the least amount. Our conversations talk about state benefits that might be able to help support them. We talk about the social services and the approach to them assessing them financially. We talk about local support and charity support. We talk about how their assets or how they might be considered currently and what that might look like in the future and potential changes that are ahead that might change their planning in the future. My primary focus is my client, so I will always have communication with that client whether they've lost capacity or not. But in a lot of cases when we talk about care, I'm either talking to an attorney or a number of family members are involved. That client is ultimately very vulnerable. So in order to make sure that we protect that client, involving as many people as we can and communicating with them on an ongoing basis, I think is the most important thing. So it's a brave thing for people to address and to assess what they want to happen in the future. But the worst thing they can do is not address it. I've seen many clients get to the point where they have had no conversations about it. They know nothing to do with their parents' wishes in relation to care, and they have none of the relevant documents and bits and pieces in that would help them. That is a much worse position and a very, very stressful time at the point where they need care. By having that discussion earlier, it is difficult, it's definitely emotive, but it's well worth doing ahead of things happening.